What's going on? What's going on? What's up, y'all? I know unfamiliar faces on the screen,
You.
but yeah, welcome back. I was on a vacation and things like that. But we are back, of course, for another episode of Lions 411. Sierra kind of held down the podcast for the last episode, so shout out to her. But of course I'm back and we'll be back. And Sierra will talk a little bit about the schedule in a second, but just in case y'all didn't know, of course, I'm Keith, King Keith, Keith Boggs, whatever y'all want to call me. Y'all can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that at _ Dr. King's Dream. Also, make sure you check us out on TikTok at Lions411. I'm going to hand it over to my co-host.
All right. World, you know what? I actually told the audience that you were so upset that the Lions lost that you didn't want to go on. Say no.
It's true. It's actually true.
No, I told him he was on a cruise. But yes, so it is your girl, CB, Sierra, whichever one you want to go by. We are now on YouTube. You can check us out on Lions 411 podcast on YouTube. You can check us out on TikTok. If you still got TikTok, I don't know if y'all undownloaded it, whatever y'all did. That's on you, boo. You can you can check us out on 411 Lions on TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We are now on the Amazon podcast. So I don't know if we got any listeners that listen to us via Amazon podcast. But if we do, shout out to you. Welcome back, King Keith. Or as I know him by Keith.
I would say feels good to be back, but the line about me being very devastated and not wanting to talk about the Lions is actually very accurate. I needed a break. That was very much a frustrating sequence of events that occurred against the Commanders. Just was not very fun. But it happened, and I think we all know what happened, and I don't think we have to talk about it very much. We're going to talk about other things today. But of course, we are planning to do the podcast over the off season. We got a lot of different episodes for y'all. So today we're going to talk about draft grades. We're going to do some free agency previews. We'll talk about the draft. We'll talk about pretty much everything that's still going on with the Lions. And the frequency will probably be around the same, maybe every week or every other week. But if there's Lions stuff that's happening, we're going to talk about it. So we'll still be recapping, doing whatever is going on related to the Lions. But today, of course, we're going to talk about some season grades.
Dun dun.
Obviously, the regular season went really well. Postseason, not as much, but 15-2, you'll see a lot of good grades, but also a lot of objective analysis at the same time because there were a lot of guys that did struggle and a lot of injuries and things like that. So I'll chat about the defense here. We'll chat about the offense. We'll go a little bit back and forth, and I think we can wrap it up talking about the coaching staff as well. But I don't want to waste too much more time. So if we want to go ahead and get started, Sierra, I'm going to let you jump in, talk a little bit about the offense. We can talk about quarterback, running backs. We can flop back and forth, whatever works for you.
Oh, yeah. So I'll give my grade, and then, yeah, you can definitely comment, give your opinion. Y'all also feel free to comment, like, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe. But yeah, so as we know, the Lions went 15-2. Highest scoring offense in the NFL with the average of 32, 33 points a game. So we did pretty good off season. We did pretty good. Regular season, we did pretty good. Record rise, we set a franchise record 15-2. So obviously we got to get those report cards out. So we are doing the grading system pretty much A through F. Let's get into that Lions offense. First, we have, of course, at the head of everything, Jared Goff, Detroit Lions quarterback. So with Jared Goff, and we're only talking regular season, remember, we're not talking playoffs, so leave them alone, people. So we're talking regular season, 15-2. Overall, I would definitely say with Jared Goff, he gave us 4,600 yards, 37 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, but 5 of them was during that Houston game, which I gotta dock him for. Average passer rating of 11.8. Also an MVP finalist. He finished second in completion rate among qualified passers. He tied a career high with 4-quarter comebacks. So, what would be Sierra's grade? I'm going to go A-. I'm gonna go A minus because I would definitely say with Jared Goff having about 2.7 seconds to throw, he's been on the money. He's been really good. That offensive line's been really good, which we'll talk about also. But Jared Goff, definitely that completion rate. He's very accurate. I believe he went one game. Wasn't he 18 of 18? He did have a perfect game, so we gotta give him credit for that. 37 touchdowns. I believe, what is that? Third among quarterbacks. That those yards, obviously 4,600, 38 yards or something like that. He finished second. I'm gonna go A minus because he did struggle in the Houston game. Obviously throwing those, what did he throw? 4 or 5 interceptions?
5, yeah.
But he was able to get us in field goal range where Jake Bates was able to kick the game winner. So I got a lay off of him. We still won the game, but I'll give him an A minus for the regular season. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think he was really good in the regular season. I think he was an upper echelon quarterback. I'd say about top 6 or 7 in the league this year. So for the regular season, great. I mean, there's no real way to kind of knock him. Obviously, like we said, we're not really counting in the postseason. His postseason grade will probably look the complete opposite. And that is kind of what matters at the same time, unfortunately. But again, if we're talking about how he played, if he gave the Lions a chance to win in the games, he did. He was definitely a very, very good quarterback during the regular season. And I think that he deserves to continue being a Lions quarterback until further notice. Again, obviously there are concerns about performance-related things when, big games and stuff come up. But I think worthy of an A minus for the regular season, absolutely.
And we got to give it to Goff. He caught his first receiving touchdown.
He did a lot this year. He did a lot. And I mean, I know he's not the most mobile guy, and people have concerns about that. But like, again, he put the team in a position to win in a lot of games, majority of the games. There were only a couple of games where he kind of didn't perform well. So yeah, very solid, very quality quarterback. The questions will still linger about him winning a big game, getting over the hump, those kind of things. But we'll see. We'll see. I think that he's the Lions' best option though.
Yes. And like I said, we're talking regular season. What I've seen regular season, I'm definitely going to go MVP finalist. Now, I don't think he should win the MVP, but I think they were right to have him in the MVP finalist. Like you said, it remains to be seen if he could get us over the hump in the playoffs. But I don't necessarily think that he is, even though he played bad that game, 4, interceptions, whatever the case may be. I didn't like the play calling, things of that nature, but we'll get into that another time. Whatever. All right, so Jared Goff ends the season with the A minus. All right, on to the next person. Who do we have? Oh, we have Sonic. Clearly becoming a fan favorite, obviously. Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, I don't even think we have to really read off a bunch of stats. I mean, we know what type of beast he is. We saw him in the playoffs, obviously. We saw him in the regular season. What did he end off with? He ended with 1,400 yards.
Just rushing.
Yep, 1,400 yards rushing. 52 receptions. He also ended with 16 rushing touchdowns. Second in yards per carry. 5th in rushing touchdowns. Electric. Fast. I mean, what do we have? 4.3 speed. Was he clocked? He might have been clocked at 21 miles an hour in one game. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, he get to step on you and whoo! I always say he's a look back running back, because once if he gets a step on you and he blows by you, oh, you turn it around. You trying to track him down at this point. I mean, the Minnesota game, the last game of the season, I mean, 4 touchdowns. You had 3 rushing touchdowns and you had 1 receiving touchdown. I mean, I can't do nothing but give him an A+. And then when Monty went down, he stepped up. A+. Plus. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't even have to talk to him about him long. He's a star. He's got to be a star. So what do you think?
I agree. I think that obviously Jared Goff was the one that was in the MVP conversations in the league because of the nature of the position he plays. I thought that Jameer Gibbs was the Lions' offensive MVP though. He's the best player on the Lions' offense. I
Oh
think
yeah.
if Saquon Barkley did not exist, he would be the best running back in the league. I think he is definitely the second best running back in the league. He is just a marvel. And it's just amazing to see him where he comes from. Considering the Lions picked him 12th, and everybody, including myself, was like, y'all picked a running back 12th, and y'all didn't pick like a Bijan Robinson running back 12th. Y'all picked Jameer Gibbs, who good, mind you, very, very good in college, good at Georgia Tech, good at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
12th was high. Nobody expected that. Looking back on that, no complaints. Not an air complaint. I was wrong.
Oh no.
We were all wrong. We were all wrong. And I get that some people are like positional value, blah, blah, blah. Running backs don't have a certain level of value. I get that. Jameer Gibbs is insane. He is a game-breaking player. He can run between the tackles. He can run outside. You can run every kind of play with him. You can put him in the pass game. He does it all. He really does do it all. People think that he's just a speed guy because he's so fast. Physical, break tackles, gain extra yards, short yardage back, red zone back, everything. He literally is a complete running back. And I love David Montgomery because he's perfect for kind of taking the pressure off of him and making sure he doesn't take too many hits. But Jameer Gibbs clearly can exceed as a number one running back. I think he's the second best running back in the league.
So you think even before Derrick Henry?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, I ain't mad at it. I love it. I mean, when it's all said and done, I think Jameer Gibbs will be one of the best players to ever wear a Lions jersey. I mean, that Minnesota game, I said, I mean, the man didn't even have I don't even think he had no more touchdown celebration to think of.
Yeah, it's a lot of just having a running back this good. Obviously, we haven't had a running back this good since Barry Sanders.
Mhm.
And he has a lot of that in him. He has a lot of those shades. And I just hope that he stays in the Lions jersey for as long as possible. I really do. He's fantastic. Seems like a really good guy. His teammates love him. I mean, there's just nothing negative to say about Jameer Gibbs. Him and like a couple other players on this team just had absolutely flawless seasons. Like nothing negative I could say.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Jameer Gibbs audience ends with an A+. Alrighty, who are we on? We are on David Montgomery. So David Montgomery had the injury. He went down. Jameer Gibbs had to step up. But as you said, that Monty kind of he's our step in. If we need that 1 yard for that touchdown, he can get it. If we need that hardcore first down, he can get it. But he did get injured. He ended the season with 775 yards, 12 touchdowns. His average per carry was about 4 yards. Madden has him ranked at 85, which I don't know if I agree with, but whatever. His grade, I would give a B+. I think before he went down, we could have been in that A- range, but he went down. He didn't finish the season with 1,000 yards, but from what I've seen, I definitely do think A-. But regular season, yeah, he's another. Now he's not as fast as Gibbs, obviously, and I like how him and Gibbs have their relationship. Like Gibbs kind of looks up to him, kind of like a big brother thing. Those two are adorable. But yeah, he's definitely a old school ground and pound. We need those yards. We need that first down. We need 2 yards, 1 yard to the touchdown. Yes, that's him. I'm gonna give him a B. What do you think about that?
I give Montgomery an A-, solely because of the reasons that you mentioned. That he was kind of on pace for an A-. He was on pace for 1,000 yards. He was on pace for 15-ish touchdowns. And he got hurt, and that was really just it. But
Yeah.
performance wise, I mean, I think that he A- running back, absolutely one of the best running back tandem in the league. One of the better running back tandems you will ever see, to be honest. Because both of these guys can be number one running backs for a lot of teams.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, Montgomery just bringing a calming presence, always getting the extra yard. It's so big that he's always getting those extra yards. He's fantastic. I thought he was a great signing. Everybody felt sad that Jamal Williams was leaving. I was sad that Jamal Williams was leaving. and I looked at the stats and I looked at the film, and I'm like, I mean, David Montgomery's better. He's a better player.
Yep.
He's proven unequivocally to be so. So I give Montgomery an A-.
Yeah, that first season he had over 1,000 that first season. What did he have? 16 touchdowns.
I think he had
But
like
yeah,
touchdowns or something like that.
did he?
Yeah.
Well, I thought about 16. Okay. But yeah, I definitely give him I give him about a B plus. Definitely just because he went down in the injury. So that would be my ranking on that one. We love you, Monty. Next we have Sam Laporta. Every time you catch the ball, I'll be like, Porter. Okay, so Sam Laporta, did he have an injury?
Yeah, he's a little injury prone. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. All right, so he ended the season with 726 yards, 7 touchdowns. One thing with Sam Laporta, he's another guy. He's a big third down guy this season. If we needed that first down, throw it to Porter. I mean, I guess that would be going to the playoffs, but the Washington game with the one-handed catch, man. But yeah, definitely when he came into the league, you definitely knew this guy's going to be a star. I mean, hey, him and St. Brown, Mr. Reliables. I'm going to go A-. I know last season he finished off with around that 890, 900-ish yards, but I know he did, have some things going on this season injury-wise, so he ended with 726. But nonetheless, what I've seen, Mr. Reliable. He don't drop much. I definitely, only 7 touchdowns. I thought he had a little more, but yeah. I'm going to give him an A-. I definitely feel he ended with an A-. How do you feel about that?
I agree for the most part. I give him a solid B, just based off of expectations, because it's unfair. Mm-hmm. He had a historic rookie season. I mean, he was outstanding his rookie year.
Yes.
And this year, nagging injuries, things like that kind of impacted that. But yeah, still outstanding player, one of the better tight ends in the league, versatile both as a pass catcher, as a run blocker, does a little bit of everything. Another one of those guys that going into next year, going to be a starter, going to be a high-level player, going to be one of the best players in the league at his position. And the Lions got a lot of these guys at this point. So, yeah, I give Sam Laporta a solid B just because I think I expected a bit more. But again, the injuries did play a large factor in that.
Yeah, what I've seen, I'm going to still go to A- range. But yeah, definitely with those injuries. And he did tough it out, and he did play pretty much every game. So, all right. I'm going to go A- on that one. So next we have Jameson Williams, another emerging fan favorite. All right, J-Mo, Waymo, Jameson Williams, whatever you want to call him. He ended the season with 1,001 yards, so he did crack the 1,000 mark, off of 58 receptions. That's crazy right there. That's a bar. He averages 17 yards per catch, one of the highest in the NFL. He did finish with 7 touchdowns. His longest run was 83 yards this season, and I remember that play. His grade for me, it's gonna be A. It's gonna be A+. I have no qualms about him. I think his route running has gotten better. I think him and that golf connection this year has gotten better. I don't know if he's been in the weight room. He don't look as skinny as last
year. Yeah, they say his lower half definitely he's gotten a little stronger down there.
Yeah, but obviously one of the fastest players in the league, if not the fastest, but I know Xavier Worthy technically ran the fastest 40-yard dash. I believe Jameson is in that 4.1, 4.2 world-class speed era. But I mean, obviously he's our deep threat. We know what we know what we're getting with J-Mo. We know we're getting somebody that can go down the field, somebody that can hang with any corner. In my opinion, beat any corner.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 7 touchdowns. I thought he would be more so at 10, but 7. But that 82-yard run, I mean, that was sick. That was sick. Nobody could catch it. Oh man. But yeah, I definitely feel he's another one to where I'm not worried. I feel he's going to be a star. With him, I feel he's getting better and better and better as the season, as the well, let me say it like this. I feel he's going to get better and better as the seasons progress. Because last season, I don't think he ended with exactly 1,000 yards, and then this season ends with 1,000 off 58 receptions. I'm gonna go second fastest player in the league. Personally, I think he's faster than Tyreek Hill, but that's just me. We're gonna go A+. How we feel about that?
I give J-Mo A-. Extremely productive. I think surprisingly productive. Not surprising. I expect him to have a really good season, but for him to hit the 1,000-yard mark, for him to be as consistent, he almost felt like reliable, which coming from first 2 years for him to be somebody that's seen as reliable is a long way coming. I know that him and Goff really just had the issues with what spot you're going to be in and how you're going to run this route with this kind of break. It seemed like they were on the same page this year. He ran the routes really well. He seemed to be in the spots that Goff anticipated him being in.
Definitely.
He really has just been the perfect complement that the Lions needed to Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously. St. Brown's the underneath guy, does all the stuff, though he can get deep too, but J-Mo just stretching that field is like, it really is just a perfect complement for exactly what the Lions offense needed. He has just been perfect. He has been perfect, and he's another guy that Brad Holmes took a shot on, and a lot of people were worried about, and it was like, oh, is this going to work out? And it has. It has worked out so far. I think the only question now is the Lions have so many good players. In the future, how do you pay all these guys? Because Jameson Williams is just another guy that's going to command a really sizable contract if he continues to play the way that he plays. So I think that's literally my only concern. Other than that, he is solid.
That good you bring that up, because next episode we're going to talk about free agency and we're going to talk about coaching changes, things of that nature. So all right, so he ends with me A+. So our next player, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mr. I have a cake in Rochester. Oh man, fan favorite, had pretty much clearly the fan favorite. He ended with 1,263 yards, 12 touchdowns. But let me give you this bar right here. Only receiver with 0 drops. 0 drops. I'm talking Mr. Reliable. Mr. Reliable. You throw it, if you throw it in his way, even if he gonna get hit, St. Brown coming down with it. He gonna come down with it. He don't care if he get hit. He catching it. He does have decent speed. I believe when we looked up his 40 time, what was it? 4.5, 4.6, somewhere like that. So decent. But definitely Mr. Reliable. He doesn't have to do it all because we do have Jameson Williams. We got Laporta, like you said. We have so many good players. But he don't care to be a glory guy, the number one guy. That man will block. He's about one of the main players I've seen blocking besides the offensive line. That man will block for you. So my grade for him, A. Oh man.
Yeah, I agree. I give him solid A. Mr. Reliable, always there. High pedigree, somebody that's just always been good. I was watching a TikTok video the other day. I did not know for somehow that Amon-Ra St. Brown was the number 1 receiver coming out in his class in high school. And then he went to Mater Dei High School, which is big time high school football program. Went to USC, extremely productive. Obviously not the biggest, not the fastest, and so he went to win the 4th round of the draft. But every step of the way it's just great. He's just great. He's better than everybody else every single time he lines up against them. And we already know the whole story about the 17 wide receivers who was drafted ahead of him and blah blah blah. This guy just wants to be the best, and he has a case to make for being one of the best in the league year in, year out. Even dealing with injuries and being slowed down by some stuff, you could tell this year. Still over 100 catches, well over 1,000 yards, over 1,200 yards, double-digit touchdowns. Like you mentioned, no block, no rock. I mean, nothing negative to say. No drops, nothing.
Oh
So
yeah, nothing negative about St. Brown to say.
reliable.
Fan favorite.
He's been an A since he's been here. Just reliable, and I hope that it continues to keep going. But nothing negative to say.
Oh yeah, shout out to St. Brown. All right. We have the offensive line as a collective. So we got Decker, Sewell, Kevin, Zeitler, Graham, Glasgow. That offensive line allowed the Lions to average 33 points a game. They placed them between 10 and 12 in the league, offensive line wise. If you check different stats, different people have them placed different ways, but between 10 and 12, I'm gonna go top 10, but whatever.
I'd go top 3. Whose offensive lines are better than the Lions?
Crazy. They have Baltimore.
No.
They
they're not.
have well, that's the ranking. That's the ranking. Crazy. They have Denver at the top. With Bo Nix, he has some time. I will give Denver some credit.
They performed well, but these are not the only offensive line I say is better than the Lions is Philly's.
Philly was obviously top. Crazy. I don't know how they had the Buffalo Bills one above us, but okay.
They performed well, but like these are teams that have mobile quarterbacks that kind of keep the play going.
That's what I was about to say.
And I think that can help make the offensive lines look good. And sometimes it makes them look bad as well, but I think that it can help make them look good. The Lions run blocking and pass blocking combined 2 or 3.
When we had those combined, they had them at 11th.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. Hey. Okay. So what do we have? So when the offensive line gives Jared Goff 2.7 seconds to throw, under 2.7 seconds, he's top 10 in completions. He's really good against that blitz. Offensive line, I know he has some injuries with that offensive line, though. They got docked really bad because of the Houston game, obviously. I mean, we know. They got docked also for the Bills game. They docked us. That pretty much knocked us down, which I think the Houston game did bad. I ain't gonna lie. Bills, I would have gave us a C, but they gave us a D. Well, yeah, all right. But offensive line as a collective, I'm gonna go B plus ish range. I mean, for Jared Goff to have record breaking seasons, for him to have sometimes under 2.7 seconds left to throw, he's still maybe top 5 in completions, Jared Goff. I'm gonna go A minus B plus range. Like I said, a couple games we did have a little trouble, but we did have some injuries, things of that nature. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that was the only position where I couldn't give exactly one grade because, like I said, some games I'm like, we did a little. But the Packers game, we were average. We were average. But I'm gonna go B plus A minus range.
Yeah, I think that's a fair spot to be in. I'd almost split it up. I'd say from center to right tackle, I would give them an A. I thought that Ragnow, Zeitler, and obviously Penei Sewell, who's the best offensive lineman in the league, fantastic. Oh, yeah. You can run to that side. That side, you don't have to worry about a ton of pressures and things like that. From that side on, excellent. The left side, I'd give a C at the highest. Graham Glasgow seemed to struggle at a decent amount of portions of this season. A lot of pressures that came against Goff seem to be interior pressures, which is not good for Jared Goff. Interior pressure is not. He's not moving around that flat out. Right. And that's when you saw him make some of those mind-numbing mistakes occasionally. It's because of that interior pressure that causes those mistakes. Taylor Decker he was solid, but he did have a couple of games where just couldn't handle speed rushes, guys kind of getting around him a little bit easier. So that left side of the line, I'd give a C to, but that right side of the line, I'd give an A to. So overall, I'd give him a B.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have our grades for the offensive side. We are going to cut it around the 30 minutes and then we'll come right back, give you part 2, and then my brother will tackle, pun intended, tackle the defensive side of things.
Okay. We'll be back.
We